Alright, family, brother Rizza, I'm here. Assalamu alaikum. Check this out. This is a video that I absolutely contemplated on doing and contemplated on exactly how the heck was I going to start this off. And I said, well, the KKK used to wear white, but today they wear black. Thurgood Marshall. Yeah, I think that's a good start. It's all of the different things going on today. When you see different Caucasian people coming out and showing their true colors, you absolutely have to ask yourself, well, Rizza, is this how it is going to be? Or are we just simply witnessing a few specific small circumstances and individuals of those who just have a level of hate for other people, or specifically blacks and Mexicans and Jewish people, etc., those who they just really hate them? Or is this something that all white people have? Or is this something that most white people have? Or just a few sections of white people? Or just a KKK, etc., etc.? Here's all I'm going to tell you. The actual facts are going to come out, and the actual facts keep coming out. But the more you are surprised, the more these things will continue to happen. The more you are surprised by mass shootings, the more they will continue to happen. So how about we all do this, including white people? Because just so you know, truthful, honest white folk, they appreciate the truth. And even they will tell you that they do not trust a lot of their own family, because they know that a lot of their own family are absolutely racist, horrible devils, and they don't even want to be around them. So even white folks, many of them have a high level of appreciation for honesty and for the truth. But when it comes to us as black people, brown people, etc., people all across the planet, we defend racism. For some reason, we get stuck in this love-hate, prostitute, pimp, Stockholm syndrome, beaten and battered ex-wife, ex-husband type of mentality where we just can't let go. Yeah, here's some facts for you. Sir Daniel Pantaleo was fired after 5 years of investigating the murder of Eric Garner, with him using and issuing a banned chokehold on Eric Garner, which of course was banned, meaning illegal. And all of a sudden now that they're saying he is fired. Okay. Let me just make sure we all understand this. The police commissioner, Mr. James O'Neill, made many different statements, and he basically directly blamed Eric Garner for his own death, something that we all need to pay very close attention to. When they speak around the law so that they do not self-incriminate. Understand this. Rather than bringing this man up on charges of first-degree murder in New York City, first-degree murder, meaning there was malice aforethought, meaning it was premeditated. There is no such thing as a time frame on premeditation. If I contemplated murdering you for 5 minutes, that is all I need for it to be qualified as first-degree murder after I went ahead and killed you. It was premeditated, it was murder, and he used a banned chokehold, meaning it was unlawful. So therefore, that qualifies him for the death penalty in New York. It also qualifies him for life in prison. It also qualifies him for at least 20 to 25 years, according to the law of New York. However, the best way to cut ties so that no one is attached to this, including the commissioner himself, because he is backing out of an admission of guilt, is by firing the officer. Therefore, it makes it seem as though it is an isolated incident when it is an integrated one. Meaning this is something that happens quite often, not only in New York with the NYPD, but with the LAPD and with the police departments all across this country. So therefore, if they were to admit that he should be given life in prison, that would mean that all of these officers who are absolutely domestic terrorists would have to fall under the same category, and it would pretty much have a massive overhaul of large departments within the country, and many different police officers will be going straight to jail. So therefore, rather than saying he should be given life imprisonment because he broke the law and that qualifies him for that punishment, let's just fire him, because that way it will make it again seem isolated, meaning individual, rather than integrated, meaning it's happening all across this damn country and nobody wants to say any goddamn thing about it. And yes, they removed the death penalty from the law books in 2004 in New York because it declared it unconstitutional, and they reduced it down to life at least. But we know that if he were to be given life, then multiple officers across this country will be given life as well, and we know damn well they don't want to do that, do they? Which is why we have to stop calling this police brutality, because that is not necessarily the full legal description. Yes, it has some legal precedence, yes. However, the exact term that we must use when it comes to people killing us, specifically police officers, is domestic terrorism. Domestic terrorism, domestic terrorism, and those who practice this must be referred to as domestic terrorists. And the police departments who sit here and they protect these officers for doing these things, they need to be labeled as those who conspired. So it needs to be domestic terrorists who are conspiring or involved in conspiracy and therefore collusion, because you continue to do this over and over again, and they back one another up because they have their blue line, or they have their line of secrecy where they do not snitch on officers. One officer does not snitch on another. They back each other up while they are doing their terrorist acts. It has to be labeled properly in order for us to get true justice. Stop calling it police brutality and call it domestic terrorism, because that is exactly what the hell it is. It just really blows my mind when people get surprised by this, because you are dealing with the same exact system, even though it looks more modern. This is the same system that were called paddy wagons. They were called property procurement officers. They were called slave patrollers. Same exact system, and no group or organization can escape the founding principles under which it was founded. This is what they do, and many of them are absolutely happy as hell about it. So much so that they are fighting to keep their old way of living and their old way of patrolling. You saw the officers over in Texas riding horses with a black man attached to a rope next to them. They are becoming nostalgic now. It is becoming nostalgic for them. They are living the old days, and they are dreaming about how it used to be, and they absolutely want to bring it back. Hello. Oh, no. And don't get it twisted. This is not simply relegated to the police department. This is in every single area possible. They are coming out and exposing themselves in droves, not simply in the police department, but also in the area of finance, also in the area of medical, also in the area of agriculture. Think about it this way. A man by the name of Carl Anthony Simon over in Houston, Texas, just admitted, while being in court, to being an open white supremacist. Yeah, I'm a white supremacist, but he was answering these questions that they were asking him. Do you say nigger when you are working on the patients, when you're in the hospital? Do you call these people, these Mexicans, dirty and lazy, etc.? He said, yes, I do. Yes, I do. And he said, yeah, many of us do it. He said, we call this locker room talk. I'm like, really? And these are the individuals who operate on us in these hospitals, and you sincerely believe and sincerely think that it is not going to become more and more and more wide open and blatant that the KKK is still running many of these areas and avenues? This is something you might all want to understand. According to the Southern Poverty Law Center, the vast majority of hate groups happen to be white supremacist organizations. Many of them have different names, not simply the KKK, but they call it the alt-right. They call it different movements. They call it the true movement, the true blood, the blue blood, all these different things. And you sincerely believe that it is a secret thing going on, or that it's an isolated thing with Eric Garner and Daniel Pantaleo, or just specific officers, or just specific circumstances. It is going to come out as it is coming out all across this country. And just for those of you in the KKK dealing with that swastika, I wanted to go ahead and educate you on a little something dealing with that symbol. There's something else that everybody needs to know about. This is the 14 words and 88 symbol, 1488. This is something that you all need to know about right now, because you're going to be seeing it a whole lot more. That individual by the name of Anthony Simon, who is working over in Houston right now in the medical field, yeah, he wrote many different things dealing with hatred, dealing with calling us niggers, etc. And right behind his sentences, he would put the number 88. What does that mean? The 8th letter in the alphabet is the letter H. 88 is HH, standing for Hail Hitler. That's so nice. And these 14 words is a 14-word sentence for the neo-Nazis, for the KKK Klansmen, for all the white supremacists, etc. And here's a sentence. We must secure the existence of our people and a future for white children. Wow. Of course, nobody has an argument nor a problem with white people wanting to secure a future for themselves and to make sure that their white children have a future. However, your future must be predicated upon the murder and the killing of other people. Then that is not something that we can agree on. And according to Christopher Wray, the director of the FBI, he stated that the majority of domestic terrorism cases right now happen to be committed by those who are white supremacists. But also there's something else you need to know about. Former FBI agent by the name of Mike German stated that the United States and the FBI department have not recorded all of the white supremacists within the agency as well as outside of the agency because people are not reporting them. So he stated that there are far more white supremacists running around because the police departments themselves not only have been infiltrated, founded by the KKK, but also they are not recording, they're not telling anybody about it. So yes, it is far deeper and much bigger than people can ever imagine. One day we will not be wearing these white hoods. We will be wearing police badges and judge uniforms and doctor's robes. That was a conversation with the Grand Wizard of the Ku Klux Klan at the time, having a conversation with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. We're running around catching a few of the children of the system of white supremacy being birthed by the mother, which is white supremacy. You are not locking up the system of white supremacy. That's the problem. We continue to chase after the effect and not the cause, which is this system. Hence why we need our own system, which of course would require us to have an entire new set of laws, which we can't sit here and literally go through all of these and revamp the entire thing. That is why we need to establish our own everything, so that way we can come up out of this system, because this system absolutely will not help us. But on to the next point. Now what about this swastika business though? This is truly why white folks, specifically those of you who are white supremacists, you really need to study and learn, because you have been adopting and stealing a symbol and representing a symbol which has everything to do with black and African folk and original folk. And you don't like us, but you're wearing our symbol. And fact check. Contrary to popular belief, unawareness, and illogic, the swastika symbol was used in Africa long before Bishop Arius and Adolf Hitler under the Third Reich ever knew about the symbol and what it was to begin with. Uh-oh, somebody getting mad. We're just getting started. Swastika was used by the Hindus and the Buddhists and the Ethiopian brothers and sisters for over 5,000 to 12,000 years. The word swastika itself comes from Sanskrit, which means good existence, well-being, or good luck. The swastika symbol was used as one of the ancient Kemetic or Egyptian symbols for peace. But wait, there's more. KKK refers to themselves as the Aryan Nation, which was founded under Bishop Arius, who was there at the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD. And by all accounts and all intensive measures, Bishop Arius was a black man. Was there in Nicaea, or what we refer to as Turkey today, where the German man by the name of Heinz Schliemann discovered the swastika. For years, you have adopted a symbol from the African, Aboriginal, Asiatic people, and you called yourself after an Aboriginal, Asiatic, black, or original man this entire damn time. But wait a minute, there's still more. Some of the early planes in America had the swastika symbol on them. Some of the early French planes had the swastika symbol on them. There's a swastika city in New York City. There is a swastika town in Ontario, Canada. Coca-Cola used to use the swastika symbol. Some of the early coins in America used to have the swastika symbol. Some of the early poker chips used to have the swastika symbol on them. The Native American Navajo tribe will use the swastika symbol for peace and love. Some of the Boy Scouts will use the swastika symbol. There are even male and female hockey teams in Canada which use the swastika. Oh, we appreciate you, white supremacists, for representing us, the original people, even though you absolutely didn't realize it. But guess what? Thank you, and thank you. But let us go ahead and get back to the serious side of this thing, because I think we need to go ahead and wind it down and really understand that it is a serious thing going on. If the KKK and any other white supremacist group or individuals across this country are allowed to go unchecked, then we have to understand that the only resort is for us to separate from this system and establish our own everything. It is very plain, very simple. It's really all that we need to do. And for anybody who wants to talk mess about this, just understand the KKK was founded under the same flag that people say represents the land of the free and the home of the brave. They were not founded under the Confederate flag. They were founded under the Stars and Stripes. So if you represent the Stars and Stripes, you might want to stand up for it and speak out against it. And just understand this, any of the Caucasians watching this video, any of my friends, or you who call yourself my friends who happen to be white, you have to understand that it's your job to stand up and speak out against this. If you are a good police officer, we can't tell unless you come out and demonstrate your goodness by speaking out against the wickedness of your partners. Have some courage, some testicular fortitude, as Minister Farrakhan would say, some ovarian audacity, or else you cannot say that you are separate from them. Oh yeah, make sure to click the link to order my first book right there. Peace.
Not your average nigga, I'm a god out the hood. They can't downplay me, I came up, I'm elevated. I ain't gotta say too much for them to know I'm coming for what's mine. You know they